and welcome to Miss Bailey's Daily Dose. Today we are going to be learning to investigate the way in which water is transported through plants. This is an investigation that you can do yourselves at home, so I'm going to give you the equipment and some instructions which you can then write up. First of all, here's a little film. You can probably see that they used white carnations, which are really good because you can see the dye transforming those petals from white to whatever colour the dye is. But if you haven't got white carnations, daisies are a really easy and readily available flower that you'll find in fields or even in the back of your garden. So that's what we're going to be using today. So the equipment you need is 2 glasses. In the video they used vases. If you want to use 2 vases, that's absolutely fine. They had quite small and thin ones, but glasses will do the job perfectly. You need a daisy. You want quite a strong daisy and one with quite a long stem. Dye, I put blue and red because that's what I had available, but it's completely up to you. You could just have green, brown, whatever colour dye you've got in your cupboard. A knife and scissors, and those things are things that parents need to be doing rather than yourselves. So I've put a bit of a story map up here just to really show you how we're going to create these instructions, because not only is this lesson about you actually doing the experiment if you can. If you can't, you've seen it on here, it's also about writing the instructions so you can go to other people and say, look, would you like to do this experiment? Here are the instructions for it, and creating a really good set of instructions for the investigation. So I've got first, gather your equipment together. So we start first, gather your equipment together. See if you can have a try. First, gather your equipment together. So that's our first step whenever we're doing an experiment, making sure we've got all our stuff ready for our experiment. Number 2, then, so we're going to do a T, then we'll put our comma in, pour, and we're going to have 12 to 15 centimetres of water. So, pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into, we'll do a 2 for into both cups. So then pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into both cups. And you might want to use an adverb there. So carefully pour, or quickly pour, or slowly pour, or sensibly pour, whatever you would like. We're just having a look at the main instructions, and then you can add those adverbs in and any extra detail. So we've got first, gather your equipment together. Then, carefully pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into both cups. Fantastic. Number 3, next, so we're doing X, next, and then we're going to change that to an add sign. So next, add the food colouring. So imagine you're colouring a lovely picture in. So we've got next, turn it to an add sign, add the food colouring to both cups. Okay, so let's go from the beginning. First, gather your equipment together. Then, carefully pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into both cups. Next, add the food colouring to both cups. Make sure, so we'll have an S, so make sure you add lots. So make sure you add lots. So we want to make sure that the water is the same colour as that food colouring. So put enough in so it is a bright red or a bright blue or a bright green, whatever food colouring you've got. Number 4, this is the bit where you're going to grab your adult. So I apologise, parents, but the children can't be using the knife on their own. So the next part is when the adult's going to grab your daisy and they're going to use the knife. They're going to leave about 6 centimetres at the top of the daisy as much as they can. So it needs to be quite a long stem daisy that you try and find. And the rest of it, they're then going to split in half using the knife. So now, so I'm going to point down, now grab. So now grab an adult. We know that adults are nice and tall and big, so now grab an adult to cut. So cutting methods to cut the stem. We know the stem is the part of the plant that keeps it up nice and straight and transports that water up to the leaves and the parts of the plant that needs it. So now grab an adult to cut the stem in half. So in half, we're going to like that, in half, using a knife. So that's why the adult needs to do it rather than yourself, because we're too young to cut the stem in half correctly without hurting yourself. So now grab an adult to cut the stem in half using a knife. But, that's the bit that my class usually laugh at, but make sure to leave, so L for leave, to leave 6 centimetres of stem at the top. So, now grab an adult to cut the stem in half with a knife, but make sure to leave 6 centimetres of stem at the top. So you'll see the top of the daisy, which has the petals and the pollen at the top, leave about 6 centimetres or at least half of that, and then the other half you're going to split in half using the knife, and the adult is doing that. So now we're on number 5. Okay, so we've done next, we're going to do after that. So after that, and put your comma in, place. So after that, place half of the stem in the first glass of water and the other half of the stem in the other glass of water. So this is number 5. After that, nearly said lace one then, after that, place half of the stem in one of the cups of water and the other half of the stem in the other glass of water. So you should have your daisy with the stem cut in half, one of the halves in one of your glasses of water, it's got the red dye in, and the other half in the other glass of water, it's got different coloured dye in. Number 6. Finally, so this is our last one. So finally, watch. So we're looking, so watching. So finally, watch and wait. So we're taking time to wait to see whether the water is sucked up through the stem and changes the colour of the petals on the daisy, which fingers crossed it will. So finally, watch and wait as the petals, so we're going to pretend we're picking the petals off a plant, change colour. So finally, watch and wait for the petals, we'll do it 2, change colour. And that's how we investigate and create instructions for knowing how water is transported through different plants. What we can do now, I've taught you the instructions, is you can change them and you can add on to them. So I've got my instructions here. You know that in instructions you're going to need an equipment list. You're going to need the title. So I've done that previous, so you can see that here. I've done how to investigate the way in which water is transported through plants. That's my title. I've made it big so you guys can see it, but that would be at the top of my instructions. And then I've got an equipment list, 2 glasses, 1 daisy, different dyes, a knife, scissors. You might even put an adult on there as well. And now I'm going to be actually writing my instructions in. So, thinking about that really neat handwriting, we've got a number 1. Let's rip that bit off. There we go. Got a number 1. So, first, big capital letter. And the punctuation we need after that is a comma. So, first, comma, gather. And as the children are writing this, it's really important that they're using their thread talk, that they're sounding out those words. So, gather, what does it start with? It starts with a G. So, G, A, the. Well, I know that is with a T and a H, and then at the end. So, first, gather your equipment. So, E, qua, it, meant. Together. So, first, let me make that E slightly bigger. Gather your equipment together. Then I put a number 2 on the line underneath. Okay, I know I've still got a little bit of space here, but it's my second instruction, so it goes underneath. So, first, gather your equipment together. Then I'm looking back, I'm thinking, right, then. So again, big capital T. And after that bossy verb, I need the punctuation of a comma. So then, and this is where you might use your adverbs. Instead of saying pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into each cup, you might say carefully, sensibly. So I'm going to use carefully. So carefully, and obviously I'm doing this quite quickly. Pour 12, and you do a little dash. When we say 12 to 15, that's around 12 to 15, so you could have 12, 13, 14 or 15 centimetres of water. Water. So then carefully pour 12 to 15 centimetres of water into, you might say each cup or 2 cups. I'm going to put 2 cups. Now, when you're saying such as 2 cups, you might want to either write it as a word or a number. I usually write it as a word if I'm saying like number 2, so I have 2 things. But if I'm saying like centimetres, I write it using the correct values, so the number 12 to 15 centimetres. I'll put my full stop. And then you'd carry on. So you'd carry on doing each of the instructions here. So I've just done first, then it would be next, at. So number 3, next, and again, like I said, you can put in there the adverbs or the extra detail that you want. So next, add the food colouring into the cups. So you might put next, generously, because we said we wanted quite a lot of food colouring in each of those cups. So generously add the food colouring to the cups. And then you can carry that on and see whether you can use the same structure as myself to write your own set of instructions for this investigation. Thank you.